and the guy with the iron hand shouts that they are saved from the monsters and storms thanks to the Union Busan. The guy keeps shouting that laws exist to protect the ship, and that's why there are harpooners. They start taking the old lady. The soldier looks back when Bota shouts that they are liars and should release the old woman. The old lady realizes that things won't end well and asks Bota to run away. The boy says his father told him that the harpooners were warriors who protect people, which angers these harpooners. The crowd watches as Bota shouts that they hurt and take people away. They can't possibly be called supporters. Iron Hand punches Bota, then throws the boy to the ground and still angrily claims loyalty to this ship. The guy kicks Bota again, saying the boy dared to argue with the ship's protector. Even the population is frightened by what's happening. Bota holds the harpooner's leg, shouting that they are not the ship's protectors. After working with the plumbers, he noticed that it's the people who take care of the ship, not the harpooners. He shouts that Iron Hand isn't a harpooner. He just hides inside the ship as if he's important, and even the other harpooners are scared by Iron Hand's hateful expression. The harpooner kicks Bota in the head, saying rebellion must be in his blood, as the boy lies on the ground. Bota stands up, saying his father was a good person, and Iron Hand shouts, holding Bota by the shirt, that Tian was a murderer. People become curious after learning whose children the kids are. Trying to help her brother, grabs the harpooner's arm, but he throws the little girl to the ground. Even injured, Bota can't contain his anger and turns, attacking Iron Hand, who falls to the ground. Everyone looks surprised at what just happened, and Bota stands protecting his little sister. The other harpooners help Iron Hand up, and the guy is angrier than ever. He pulls out a gun and points it at the siblings. Bota trembles in fear, and even the old lady screams desperately to spare the children, but the harpooner ignores her and begins to shoot. At that moment, Kana appeared, blocking all the small harpoons Iron Hand was shooting at the children. Kana positions herself in front of the siblings to protect them, and people start commenting on the harpooner's appearance. The guy who was attacking the children had his weapon cut by Kana, and he accused her of going mad. He asks if she will interfere with her superior's work, and according to her, Bota and Lita did nothing wrong. According to the harpooner, Kana has always been soft on refugees, and looking at her, he says Kana has always known that the children were Tian's offspring. The two harpooners stare at each other. He is the first to attack, but Kana easily blocks him with her sword. She begins to spin and attacks the harpooner's neck. Unfortunately, the guy blocks with his iron arm and only gets a scratch on his face. He starts cursing Kana and counterattacks the girl with a sword. The guy seems to be more on the defensive than attacking, and he's really struggling to defend himself against Kana's swift attacks. Then he retreats, his iron hand marked by Kana's attacks. He says she has revealed who she truly is, and people watch anxiously as the two harpooners fight. The guy shouts for everyone to hear that Kana will be arrested for treason. She looks around and is surrounded by harpooners and enemies. The harpooner says Kana has no chance of winning against all of them, so the girl draws a weapon, and this time the guy seems shaken. She begins to shoot mercilessly, and the enemy harpooners duck, trying to dodge the attacks. Some of the harpoons she fires hit what appears to be a power box, which explodes. With that, they are in the dark. The harpooner imagines that Kana and the children might escape and orders his henchmen to block the exits before they can do anything. The chief of the harpooners hears the sound of blows and turns, looking for his opponent. One of the harpooners is blocking the exit. Upon seeing someone approaching, he shouts to know who it is, and in response, receives a kick in the face. He falls backward after Kana's blow, who is accompanied by the children and the old woman. The harpooner tells the children and the old woman that if they want to live, they must stay with her, and of course, everyone agrees. More enemies appear, and she draws her sword to defend herself. The harpooners attack Kana. She defends herself and trips both of them, who can't resist and fall to the ground. Kana starts running with Bota, who is looking at the defeated harpooners. She explains that she hit them with the blunt side of the sword, and they will survive. Another harpooner appears on a catwalk and shouts to his comrades that he found the fugitives. Their chief orders them to bring the harpoons to catch the fugitives. A door opens, and Lee is shouting for them. The civil servant asks Kana and the others to follow him. He is upset with what Kana has just done. According to the girl, she had no choice and left the old lady with them. She says there must be some money in her room to help. The old lady thanks her and, looking at Bota, caresses the boy's head. The old lady says she's happy that Tian's children are alive. Bota imagines that the old lady must have known his father, and other people appear. anger, saying that Bota's father saved them. According to Lee, talking about Tian was prohibited on the ship, but despite this, everyone is happy to help his children. Bota is almost crying, but the group is noticed by someone. The harpooners have found the fugitives, and they run. Kana and the children are trying to escape, and the harpooner with the iron hand hasn't given up yet. He points a gun at Kana and the children, and before firing, he already celebrates the girl's death. Just as he was about to shoot, a huge net full of boxes falls in front of him. It's so big that it completely blocks the harpooner's path. The guy piloting the machine carrying the net apologizes for what happened, and the harpooner orders to remove the net from the path immediately. Bota looks at the worker who starts lifting the net, and he smiles at the boy. Bota begins to understand that they are being helped by the people. They didn't hate his father, and even Kana, a harpooner, is helping them. From above, guns are pointed at the fugitives again, and a rain of small harpoons hits them. Bota shrinks in fear of being hit, and Kana's arm enters in front of the harpoons to protect him. The harpooners shout to their chief that they managed to catch Kana, and she is crouched on the ground full of wounds from protecting the children. Bota despairs seeing the injuries. He starts crying, asking why she is doing all this for them, and apologizes. Kana says he doesn't need to apologize. According to her, this is the payment for a debt she had. Bota continues looking at her in tears. Kana remembers Tian telling her that the weak are devoured by the strong, and one must become strong to survive. And she repeats these same words to Bota. He and Lita agree with what the girl said, and Kana senses a threat. She quickly positions herself in front of the siblings to protect them. The harpooners reappear, saying there is no way to escape from them on this ship. Their leader already looks victorious, and Kana prepares for another fight. She wonders if she has become strong enough to protect Tian's children. With two swords in her hands, she looks threatening, to the point where the harpooners look at her with fear. She seems to want to end the fight this time. The guy with the iron hand realizes she is determined to win this battle. Kana talks to Bota and Lita. She says there is a crane behind them, and just below it, there is a boat. They need to flee to that boat. So, she asks the two to run there, and she will catch up with them shortly after. The siblings start running toward the crane. The chief of the harpooners orders them to shoot the children so they don't escape, and the soldiers prepare to fire. Kana throws one of her swords upwards, and the sword lands on the platform where the harpooners were. Kana jumps toward her sword that got stuck in the platform. She reaches the sword to pull it out of the platform. The harpooners are astonished by the climb she made. But not only that, when she pulls the sword out, she spins and destroys the platform the harpooners were on. They fall from the platform, and during the fall, Kana spins in the air and strikes both of them with her swords. She lands with the defeated harpooners and immediately runs, preparing to attack the rest of them. Kana doesn't back down, even with the harpooners wielding weapons, and their leader shouts that the harpooners must enforce the law and justice. Kana grabs a piece of iron and uses it as a shield to avoid being hit by the harpoons, even though some still manage to pass through and hit her. The girl holds the sword in one hand and continues advancing toward the harpooners. The guy with the iron hand sees that she won't retreat and decides to draw his sword, cutting the shield in half. When the shield falls, he realizes that Kana has disappeared and becomes confused, not knowing where she went. Then, Kana appears, spinning above the harpooner, and manages to hit him hard. Unfortunately, the guy blocks the attack with his iron arm. While Kana fights him, other harpooners appear to attack her, but she spins her sword and manages to hit all the enemies, who retreat and look at their defeated comrades. She looks at them threateningly, and some of the harpooners say she must be a monster. The defeated harpooners are still alive, and that's why their chief says she will never be good enough. And so, she prepares her sword and says she will fight the guy as if he were one of the sea monsters. The intimidating look of Kana only further unsettles the harpooners and provokes the wrath of their leader, who refuses to be disrespected by the girl. He prepares to attack Kana with his sword, and she moves towards him with a spinning strike. The clash of blades creates sparks, and Kana does her best to continue blocking the harpooner. She starts to be pushed backwards, and the wounds she received earlier are taking their toll. The guy keeps attacking, and this time she begins to retreat. He laughs, saying she seems tired, but Kana doesn't give up and attacks the harpooner again. She moved so quickly that he didn't notice the several cuts she inflicted on his body. Now he starts coughing up blood and falls to the ground. Kana tells him to get up, saying that with his skills at this level, he won't be able to protect anything. The guy looks at Kana with boiling rage, shouts her name, and attacks once more. Elsewhere, on the ship, Bota and Lita are running. They reach the crane area and manage to see the boat waiting for them below. Before they could reach the boat, harpooners appeared, one of them asking if they they were Bota and Lita. The siblings are surrounded, and one of the harpooners warns them not to try anything funny, but Bota wouldn't let them capture him and his sister easily. He picks up Lita and runs towards the ship's railing. The harpooner orders him to stop, but the boy gives a push and jumps into the sea, carrying his sister. Lita screams in fear as they fall. Bota still manages to see where they will land. They land on top of a net full of boxes. Bota sighs in relief that his plan worked, while the harpooners look to see where the siblings fell, and one of them starts heading towards the crane. Bota and Lita grimace at the harpooner above until the other harpooner falls right in front of the children, leaving them stunned, as they didn't expect that. The harpooner says he's just following orders and raises his sword to eliminate Tian's children. The two look desperately at the harpooner. Returning to the harpooner's fight, we see the severed iron hand on the ship's deck, and Kana is still alive. She stands surrounded by fallen harpooners, including their leader, who is still alive. He asks if Kana wants to kill him, and she just looks at the harpooner. He starts laughing, saying that it's for things like this that one should not have pity for refugees. According to him, emotions like compassion are useless and only breed traitors like her and Tian. They are bad seeds that grow and generate chaos. He reveals that he knew about the hidden boat and therefore sent some of his men there. Kana is shocked by the revelation. To the harpooner, the children must already be dead at this point. Even bloodied, he celebrates that he managed to destroy the traitors at the root. Hearing all this, Kana runs towards the siblings to try to save them. The guy keeps laughing, celebrating that it's already too late. Bota dodges the harpooner's attack, and even unarmed, the boy doesn't give up. The harpooner attacks again, and Bota dodges. The boy pulls the net on which the harpooner was standing, causing him to lose balance and fall into the sea. The guy falls into the water and starts screaming that he will still catch the siblings. But he realizes that there is something strange in the water. Something seems to be coming towards him, and of course, a sea monster appears and devours the harpooner. The siblings watch in amazement as the guy screams for help, which is in vain because the monster dives and circles around. Now, Bota and Lita are afraid to descend to the boat. Kana appears above them and jumps onto the net where the siblings are. Both are relieved that she is okay. Bota tells her that there's a sea monster near the boat, and Kana says she will take care of it and prepares to jump from the net. At that moment, a cannon appears on the side of the ship, and both Kana and Bota know what it means. The cannon releases a tongue of fire that sets the boat ablaze. Bota and Lita scream in despair, seeing their chance of escape literally exploding. The fugitives huddle on the net to protect themselves from the flames. The leader of the harpooners appears again, and once again says they will never escape. Kana shouts his name, which is Dohu. He confesses that he has always hated Kana. The other harpooners prepare to shoot at Kana and the siblings. They are facing each other, and Dohu orders the harpooners to fire. Kana embraces the children to try to protect them, and is hit by the shots. With the impact of the harpoons, the three fall into the sea.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on upcoming videos. Leave a like if you enjoyed it and share with your friends. See you in the next video. Bye for now.